Well, I need to welcome you back. And like I said, we're still with the big story for today. We're talking about the recent revelation coming from budget, especially as they looked at the performance of our state governors in the last 6 to 9 months. And looking at how much they've also performed in the area of spending. With that revelation coming that about 1.7 trillion has been spent on a lot of things, and some things that are quite really annoying to many Nigerians. But anyway, they need to continue and spend to ensure that our governance is being run. But anyway, we're not running away from it, but rather looking at it. And I still have my guest here, Chief Daniel Ekigbo, helping out with the discussion. But you do know it's that time now we need to go and get a message from our sponsors. We're talking about Beneta Gas, located right here in Ughelli, Warrior environs. And when we come back, more discussion centered on the big story for today.
Follow Uno Road, auto better quality. If you talk gas matter, follow Beneta. Gas with the better quality. Beneta gas. Where they full rich man to Beneta gas. Every brother na shopali. Beneta gas. Gas no mango. Beneta gas. Different type of gas cylinder. I mean that gas we go last you well. Beneta gas. Beneta now dogu. Beneta gas. Service in a them they run. Beneta make you carry go.
For gas matter and home delivery, make you wire Beneta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Beneta gas plant, the Tequele of gas matters.
Well, anyway, you do know it will really matter if you come over and let's see how we can talk business and also bring your goods or services on the platform, the big storytellers. But anyway, let's continue with it. Like I said, we're still with that very topic and looking at the recent call for accountability as it concerns state governors and how they spend our state funds. But anyway, let's quickly return to it. Still going through that report, another major thing that caught my attention is the issue of security votes. Okay. In that very report, it was stated that in the last 6 months, governors collectively have spent about 87 billion naira on security votes. Again, bringing the issue of security votes back to the fold. And then looking at it, there's this growing call for either governors to be accountable on how they spend the security vote or a total scrap of the security vote in itself. But I'm only keen to get your reaction as it concerns the issue of security votes, knowing that in just 6 months, state governors have spent about 87 billion on security votes.
It is quite unfortunate that in the Nigerian system, security votes is one of the items that we know is being unaccounted for over time. And in spite of the insecurity that is rampant everywhere, it is high time actually that we begin to ask questions to know if you are receiving this chunk of money either at the state or the local government level for every month, whereas lives and properties of the citizens are not guaranteed security-wise, then it's of no use. However, the same big question remains. Who will bear the cut? Who steps forward, thumps his or her chest and say, I am the one that you will give account to on this security votes? Then, talking about scrapping it, you see Nigerian politicians, they are very crafty, very wise.
Some of them. Because many will say you putting general term to them, it's more like an insult to all.
Well, go ahead. The system, once you belong to a skilled system, you cannot excuse yourself. So what I was going to say is, if we talk about scrapping, the operators of the system will devise another means to collect it. It's like giving it to you by the right hand and collecting it by the left hand. So it is something.
So it's not possible for us to scrap, but accountability should be seek for how it's spent.
this the structure of Nigeria, the structure of this nation, the foundation is my concern. Accountability is supposed to be a basic element of any administration or any system, be it government, even community leadership. There should be accountability. But here we are. Nobody even bothers again, because if you demand, you will not be told. And then in the end, you could even demand for accountability from an officer of the government. The next thing, he serves you court papers. Are you getting it? And in the end, the court can even grant his prayers, shielding him from being accountable. Or what it will require for you to prosecute the accountability system is enough to discourage you. Because as ordinary citizens, you do not have the resources.
To fight through.
The judiciary is very expensive. Getting justice is not more matter. It requires real cash. And all of this are in the hands of the people you want to talk about.
Okay, now, but your own ground is, should it go or should it be remain?
I think accountability is what we require in
of the security.
Because when you look at the insecurity situation of Nigeria, we cannot but agree that there is need for a special vote to be given to them, a special attention. And when you give a special attention, it must require a special vote for it.
Of course.
And so it should remain. However, it should be well accounted for and well deployed into strategic areas that will guarantee the security of lives and properties of Nigerians. Okay, now
let's leave that. The World Bank came out yesterday to say inflation will push about 2.8 million Nigerians into poverty in the coming year. And adding to the already 120 million Nigerians that are living below $1 per day, which many will consider to be poverty in a sense. But yet, it's alleged that some governors are on a jamboree. And I really feel many Nigerians are not asking the questions. And that's why they feel these governors, or some of these governors rather, are using public funds and not being accountable, like we've said on them. Now, do you feel the citizens are just too docile when it comes to having to ask the questions? They rather lament and complain rather than call the governors to accountability? Or do you even feel the citizens are the very reason for the recklessness of some of these governors, because they put so much pressure on these leaders? And we've seen situations where they say, that governor's stingy, they spend. Let's see how he's going to govern. He doesn't know what governance is. So do you feel the problem lies with us, the citizens, the followers, rather than these leaders?
At all. Let me begin from that bottom line.
Okay.
We can never pin the problem on the citizens.
Why can't we?
Because the system crippled the economy. Every parastatal that were developed at the onset of Nigerian independence, where are they today? Within Ughelli metropolis, we used to have several industries that were running, where people go to work to earn a living. Now, systematically, the government destroyed all of these industries in order to have the people crippled economically and reduced to the beggarly level. The average politician does not want to see those ones they call their boys living well, because they feel, if my boy they live well, I cannot feel control them again. You understand? So even if there are opportunities that he can expose that boy to make him have a better living standard, he will not. So the issue is the ruling class want to place majority of Nigerians in that level where they feel they can control them, like having one tree in a forest. Otherwise, the issues of accountability is something that Nigerians are very, very passionate about.
So, irrespective, is that not even enough reason that they've so impoverished the nation that is now would make Nigerians not being docile, but rather ask questions, hold them come out to say what was this money used for and why. Is that not enough reason to act?
Holding them would have been the best option.
Yes.
But how do you hold the man who controls the one holding the gun? If you ask questions, you cannot go to, for instance, we're in Quest TV studios here talking.
Yeah.
Those running the affairs of this state that we are in right now, Delta State, some are in government house,
Asaba.
in Asaba. Others might be other parts of the town or other parts of the state. Now, when you are talking about holding them, at what point do you hold them? Because you cannot put it past them that they are not listening to these discussions on Quest TV. Neither are they blind or deaf to the continuous cries of their people. It is very painful for you to see that within even the locality where they purport to reside in, they will build a mansion or that they actually dwell in it. You find out that within that mansion, there could be a power plant that generates like 24 hours. But the compound next to the fence is in darkness. Sometimes they turn the exhaust of their generator to face that compound, blowing dangerous fumes into the air for them to breathe. Now, if those people talk, they simply go to any of the security agencies, make frivolous allegations, label the person a criminal, and it's bundled away. So Nigerians, like I was saying earlier, are very passionate about demanding for accountability. But there is no foundation upon which they can stand to demand for it. The situation we are in today requires international intervention. Nigerians who wish to speak now, we now have to go contact agencies like the Amnesty International and the rest of them. To get
do you feel that's the situation we are in now?
We are that junction already. That is the situation we are in. If you want to make your advocacy known, listened to, if it comes through the international agencies, then listen more. Like the budget that is giving us all of this data for analysis.
Yeah.
Budget has created a kind of pedigree for itself within the Nigerian nation. I used to attend some of their functions within the state and elsewhere. However, as good as they are in digging out the information and showing it out to the public, it is not their duty to take action. You have been given the facts. Now it is the duty of the citizens to take action. And that is where the problem lies. Action. What manner of action
should be taken? Would
you write to the office concerned, or would you address a public press conference or whatever? Recall, there was a time in this country where journalists will write about issues of fraud and embezzlements pertaining to public office holders. And the system then, when it was functioning, we make that officer face the music for those things written, exposed about them. Then we degenerated into the situation where if I see the documents and everything pertaining to a fraud committed by you, and I publish everything in the paper, the person that is supposed to be probing those documents will simply call you up phone and say, oh boy, you are in the news, or they said you have collected, okay, come and host me. So instead of following up and bringing that officer to book, they won't. So that is when Nigerians are handicapped. Not that we are afraid to talk, no. After talking,
what comes next?
Okay, budget has given us accurate figures. If we take a stand today and say, okay, you, for instance, I'm in Delta State, you, my governor, come and account for your own share of
money
being spent by you. They will tag you, who see? The next thing you see is bundle. You understand? We have seen that before. I mean, the truth is, as I talk here, most people who know me well feel you are not supposed to be talking again, because I felt, you understand, the blunt, raw harshness of the system. But like somebody said in Abuja, you talk, you die. You no talk, you die. If not, the system is a total failure, despite the fact that it must run. It must run, but that does not give the blanket guarantee for the kind of fraud that is being perpetrated at every level of the system.
But anyway, we'll continue with talking about it, and that's what we pride ourselves in doing. We're talking about major issues that seems to be on the front burner as it concerns the country, and we'll never shy away from doing so. But anyway, we'll not shy away, but rather going on a short break, and when we come back, more discussion centered on the big story for today.